Good evening. My name is Dana Wilson, and I live in Charlotte. I'm one of the 500,000 people who have been forced into the Medicaid coverage gap by the actions of Governor McCrory and the politicians of this legislature. When I was 22 years old, my neurologist sat me down and told me I had multiple sclerosis. Just like that, my life changed forever, and I was forced to deal with a serious lifelong illness and questions about how I was going to pay for treatment. For those of you unfamiliar with MS, I suffer from debilitating fatigue every day of my life. My symptoms are made worse by stress, which sometimes makes it harder to speak and use fine motor skills. All of this means I'm unable to work more than 8 hours a week. It also means my husband and I were unable to have children because the doctor said the stress would be too much for me and my husband would be the primary caregiver. Because of my pre-existing condition, all insurance companies refused to even consider me. When I finally found one insurer willing to accept me, it was a monthly premium of about $1,200. I do work. I have a part-time job as a sales associate at an antique shop, but since I'm unable to work full-time, I can't afford that premium, and that's not fair. All of this should have changed with the Affordable Care Act was passed, which prevents health insurance providers from refusing coverage to people like me who have pre-existing conditions. The law also raised the Medicaid eligibility level, which would have helped me afford treatment for the first time since I was diagnosed with MS. You see, I now have insurance thanks to affordable health care, but it's not affordable at all. Unfortunately, Governor Pat McCrory and the General Assembly decided to play politics instead of helping people like me to get the care we need. Their refusal to expand Medicaid means I'm out of luck, and my income means I'm unable to receive the subsidy. Governor McCrory and the lawmakers could help me and 500,000 other people like me afford health care by expanding Medicaid. The money is already there. They just need to accept it. The longer they wait, the deeper people like me fall into debt. And it's not just about money. Every day, North Carolinians are dying. Let me repeat that. They are dying. Is that a good enough reason for you, Governor? Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Dawn Crawley, and I live on Colin Road in Lee County, directly where they want to put it's not a mine reclamation, it's going to be a toxic dump site. They want to put a 4 or 5 foot story mountain of toxic ash there. This is a mixed race residential and farming community. I have a small farm directly next to it with a garden, milk goats, ducks and chickens, and fruit trees. I have municipal water. They say we'll take that, but I have a creek, a pond, and springs which come up through my pasture. This is directly on the aquifer for the Cape Fear water basin. There are many children in the area which play outside. The ones next door will be a direct line for the flying ash because they're next to the high tension power lines. This site won't be covered for many years. Even if the liners don't leak right away, what about heavy rains or hurricane? We just had devastating tornadoes come through a couple years ago. The leachate and runoff will run down the creeks and over the land to the Cape Fear and be spread from here to Wilmington, and it has toxic heavy metals in it. The leachate will be processed through the wastewater treatment, which is upstream from the municipal water site. Trains and trucks filled with ash will be wet down when leaving the sites, but traveling for miles will be spread out, and flying ash will be in yards and railroads all along the site, even where children will be playing and the school buses are riding. Land sales in progress have already stopped. Buyers have backed out. Once contaminated or polluted, our land will be worthless, but we'll still expect to pay taxes on it.
Right.
Cancer and health problems, birth defects, medical costs are already high. Who's going to pay for the health care, the land damage? Why cause a problem when it can be prevented? Once contaminated, it will be forever. It can't truly be cleaned up and will be left for generations to come. They're looking for a quick, cheap fix, but moving the coal ash is like putting a Band-Aid on a staph infection and leaving a trail of pus behind them. There are solutions on site like recycling, concrete plants, or solidification. Duke says these fines they're getting are excessive and necessary, but what they're doing is excessive and unnecessary. This is our lives and the lives of generations to come, but because the toxins will be left for them.
Yeah.